Hey, Verl Workman here, it's Big V, and today we're talking teams. So what does it look like when you want to create a culture of trust and integrity in your team? It all starts by creating what we call a set of core values. You see, core values are the building blocks, the cornerstones, the actual essential elements that bring the team together and keep the team together. Today, I'm going to talk about specifically how to build your core values and how to apply them in your team. And then I'm going to give you a worksheet that we use in helping our teams establish their core values. So stay tuned to the very end, and I'm going to share with you those things. So here we go as I give you a few specific things that you can do to establish trust and integrity with your team. Are you ready? Okay, we start by making sure that you have core values that are very clear and have a meaningful purpose. Second is the core values need to be discussed in every company meeting. It can't just be something you do one time and then set them aside. At Workman Success, for example, we talk about our core values every single Monday in a Monday meeting. A different employee, a different team member gets to bring up a core value and talk about how that core value affects them in their life and what it means to them. One of the things I've learned is how people look at each of your core values differently, internalize it, and it gives greater meaning to the values that the team possesses. Next up is core values are presented during the hiring process. So we don't just talk about core values once you've been hired, now here's your values. But during the interview process, we share what our core values are, what they mean to the team, how we incorporate them, and we make sure that the potential employee or team member signs off on them, is in alignment with them prior to even be employed with the team. The next thing that happens with core values is that it's critical that we set our team members up for success. And so making sure that they have all of the information, all of the knowledge, all of the skills, and of course the values that they need to be successful. This happens by doing things like making sure that we have clear and effective communication, that we close the feedback loop. What that means is when an assignment is given, that there's feedback that comes back saying the assignment is done, so that there's not questioning of whether or not somebody's acting or dealing with integrity. One of the things we've learned with is that most people have integrity, but sometimes their behavior shows up as a lack of integrity because of poor communication. And so the integrity might be the core value, but poor communication is the symptom that happens as a result of not communicating more effectively. A recent study highlighted the importance of having systems in your business to close those feedback loops, increase communication, and have integrity and trust in your team. I'm now going to share with you a series of specific things that you can do to establish your core values and how we use them. Are you ready? Okay, let's start with team's core values need to be established as guiding principles. So what are the things in your heart, in your gut, in your soul that get you up in the morning, that make you tick, that make you want to do what you do? What are those values that you adhere to? They could be as simple as always doing the right thing or choosing to be happy. Next is core values are the foundation of your team structure. So when you start building your team, you say, okay, what are we going to build our team based on? It starts off with this set of core values. Core values help establishing trust in the team because everybody is aligned in them. You've talked about them. We've worked on them together and we've established those core values. Core values also help massively establish the trust between team members. I will tell you that as a team leader, one of the most important things you can do is set the example of how you adhere to the core values and how you rely on those core values to make decisions. And you'll be given so many opportunities to be able to do that. It's up to you to go in and just plug in and decide that I'm going to pull my core values out to help make this decision. And then you share with your team members how you used that interaction and going back to your core values to make that decision. The next thing with our core values from an implementation perspective is how do we systematize, train, and develop them so that our team members are all on the same page. Anything you do 3 times in your business, you must create a system for it. Systems first for everything. So if core values are going to be part of your business culture, then what's the systems you're going to apply them to so that we constantly review and go over them? Only 56% of real estate professionals say that they have systems in place for things repeated 3 times. That means almost half of the agents and half of the teams that are out there don't have systems that effectively help them move their business forward and create scale inside their team. The next thing is to focus on the right things. When you think about what are we going to do next, or how do we make a decision when it comes to how do we deal with a client, or how do we deal with an agent on the other side of a transaction, or how do we deal with a team member that's outside of our core values, we focus on doing the right things. Doing the right things is more important than doing it perfect. I want you to think about that. A lot of times we wait till things are perfect and then we'll execute. What I want to do is just do the right thing and then focus on getting better at it over time. Doing the right thing will always put you in a position to be successful as a team. Doing things perfectly will create analysis paralysis and keep you from moving and growing and going forward. So just do the right thing. I like to say do the right thing regardless of how it affects you personally or financially. When you do the right thing as part of your core values, it becomes transparent to everybody on your team and to your consumer that you're living in integrity in everything that you do. The next thing with creating a culture of integrity and trust is create activities and do things with your team members that not only bring them together, but reinforce those values. Let me give you a few ideas of some of those activities. Things like team building activities like team retreats. These can be so powerful when you bring everybody together. They don't have to have a theme or a message, but it's often more powerful when they do. Sometimes it's just going together and going bowling or getting together and focusing on your business plans or vision boards. Another thing is doing volunteer work where you find something together as a team where you're giving back to the community and making a difference. Other things are doing like team challenges or team games. We love doing team games and things that cause people to think outside the box and cause them to have to work together to solve problems. We have so many activities around that. Having regular, consistent team meetings help bring trust and integrity to your team. And then recognizing and rewarding people when they do the right thing. One of my favorite things that I've seen teams do is when they just shout each other out for recognizing when somebody did something above and beyond that are consistent with their core values, and then celebrating those successes. Sometimes it's with a $5 Starbucks card or with a gas card or with mani-pedi or whatever it is that motivates that team member, is we come up with things that celebrate. The next thing in creating trust and really eliminating dysfunction in your team is to use Patrick Lencioni's 5 dysfunctions of a team, and then think about how do we eliminate those 5 dysfunctions of a team. The 5 dysfunctions of a team are, and here they are, you ready? Their absence of trust, fear of conflict, lack of commitments, avoidance of accountability, and inattention to results. When you go through each of those 5 dysfunctions of a team, you'll find that they can easily be eliminated through setting up and establishing your set of core values. A couple of books that we use in establishing core values are The Traveler's Gift. Another one is written by Og Mandino, who's the greatest salesman in the world. In both of these journeys, they talk about people who go on a life journey to find out who they are, to find out how to be better in the world. And they learn these life principles that end up being these principles that establish their values. As you read those books and you start to think about your core values, I think you'll see a very clear roadmap. Next, I'm going to give you a really simple worksheet where you brainstorm the ideas or things that you'd like to have in your core values. I'll show a couple of examples of core values that we have and have used at our teams as part of the download and give you the worksheet to be able to work that. So as you want to establish trust in your team, you want to have higher level of integrity, have it be based on a set of core values. Get them set today, and you'll find that core values become the building blocks of a successful team.